Buddy, 7 point whatever. I don't know what patch we're in. Actually, I should look this up. Fuck. What patch are we in, boys? What patch are we in? But hello, YouTube. It's time for a tier list. This one will probably get updated in a week or so. The new patch dropped 2 days ago. 7.35D. Not the biggest patch. Everyone thought we were going to get Ringmaster, and everyone was really excited, and then they didn't. But they did have some pretty substantial nerfs, so a lot has changed. And it's bit like I did my last tier list kind of at the beginning of the last patch, so like kind of both patches together have made a lot of changes to my list at least. And this is going to be for mid heroes. So we have the tiers, hacking and cheating. We updated the tiers as well. Very powerful meta, good if not countered. Pick if it's a good game. Pick for fun. Pick if you hate yourself is making a return. Hero specialist only, and the Herald Superstar division. So, Puck, very powerful meta hero. A lot of the heroes that you end up picking kind of need to play around Puck being like almost the most popular hero. There's one more popular and more powerful guy in the patch, and we'll go over that later, but Puck is an insanely good hero right now. It feels like it scales at all points of the game. Weakest in the early game, I would say. So if your team doesn't have a lot of damage, it might be hard to kind of get to your mid to late game. You want to be able to like coil something and have it die. So like having someone that could do damage or having a lane you can rotate to will help a lot. You don't want to pick it if you have like a bunch of losing lane matchups and then you don't know what you're laning against because you're probably not going to win mid on Puck. It's very difficult to win your lane 1v1. Your base stats are terrible. You can go like slightly losing to even in almost every matchup. And once you have coil every like 90 seconds or 80 seconds, whatever it is now, you should be able to secure a kill if you have like good heroes on your team. That's kind of what you're looking for. Ember Spirit is no longer S tier, bros. I think you just pick it if it's a good game. It's somewhere between B and C. I personally think it's C tier, but we'll have to see. I would have left it in B tier if Maelstrom didn't get nerfed, but he was terrible, and then they buffed a bunch of items for him, like Mage Slayer Shivas was the build for a while. The only item he uses that got buffed was Kai Assange. And that does feel really good on Ember, but Maelstrom got nerfed now. Like, every item he's ever loved has been nerfed. And if they didn't nerf Maelstrom, I might have just left him in B, but I think that, like, now it's more of a C situation. Dragon Knight, I would say this is more like an offlane hero, but I think like if it's a good game, you're gonna succeed on this hero in the mid lane. Like it's a like I'm gonna add another hero that just like off the top of my head that I'd put in the same category that I've been picking a lot mid actually. If I can find him, he has a ship. Spoiler alert, it's the ghost pirate man himself, Kunkka. Where is he? A B C D E F G. I'm blind. Does he not exist? Is it not? Okay, well, never mind. Because CM's next to Wind Ranger, so it's not alphabetical. He could actually just be at the bottom. Wow, that is terrible. They need to remake this website. Everyone in the chat probably sees him but me at this point. There he is. Right below Invoker. Same thing. These two heroes, they kind of fill the same role as like you're playing offlane for mid because your offlane picked Wind Ranger carry or some shit or a Bristleback and you want some stuns and team fight. Or you're like not necessarily last pick and you just want to pick a hero that's good for the game. These heroes do what they do best. Kunkka's more of like the AoE teamfight control. Dragon Knight's kind of single target stun in the early game and then scales really hard as like a carry kind of. But I would pick him in very similar situations. Templar Assassin. I think she can move up to C tier. I don't know. I feel like this hero is not that bad. The problem is like a lot of lane matchups feel kind of sussy. It's definitely not a pick for fun because there's a bunch of games where I would pick this. Like there's a lot of anti-mage players out there right now and they just get like especially Puck too, right? Like you would pick this almost exclusively if you know they have a Puck or an anti-mage carry or something. There's probably a bunch of other heroes I'd pick before TA if it was just for anti-mage, but you will have a pretty good time against Puck. It's annoying. Like you basically have a built-in Orchid with your Shard for super cheap. Because Puck is so good, TA is kind of viable mid. I would normally say she's just a carry. You can pick it for fun. It's never really in the if you hate yourself type thing. How do you know if it's a good game? Um, you don't want to have a bad lane matchup, and you want to either be good against their heroes or good with your heroes. So, like, if you have nothing but heroes on your team that save or buff, like a Wisp, an Oracle, being Leshrac will feel really good. Being Ember Spirit or Dragonite will feel pretty bad because you don't really need save when you're playing Dragonite. If you have like Skywrath Mage and Hoodwink on your team as your ports, you'll feel pretty good being Dragonite or Ember because you can set up their spells in the early game, stuff like that. Invoker, I think, is a very powerful meta hero. You could maybe put this in the B tier. I think the hero is just very, very good right now. I've had a lot of success on Invoker, so I'm a little biased. I think this hero is pickable and would be even more pickable if it wasn't for Puck, but one of the best heroes in the game for mid gets countered by Spirit Vessel right now, so it's like, if there's a Vessel game, you either pick Invoker or Coddle for mid, if you need a Vessel on your team, and I'd almost always default to Invoker. Faceless Voids in like every game, it's a super easy combo. Mars is very popular as well, super easy combo. A lot of the heroes that just like set your spells up are really strong right now, so you can pick it when it's good with your team. And then you have all those like games where you're like, I need a Vessel. They have a Timbersaw. They have what was the other hero? I forgot. Anyway, so if you just need anti-healing, is always a good choice too. But yeah, like if they have Timbersaw or Leshrac or something like that, then feels pretty good. Coddle, I think, is probably like, I'm not a Coddle specialist, so I'm going to put him in C. He might just be strong, simply because he's like so good against Leshrac. Like, Leshrac is nuts right now. And the hero I don't want to see the most when I'm playing Leshrac is Coddle mid. Like, it's not even close. Like, the Blade Mail heroes are annoying, like Kunkka, even Primal Beast sometimes. Invoker's really annoying because he EMPs you in the early game and buys a Vessel. But Coddle will just, like, nuke you off the map from 4 screens away, and Leshrac wants to be next to people. So it's just, like, a big counter pick. Storm, I think Storm's B tier, I think is good if not countered. However, like, because Puck and Invoker are very powerful, they kind of counter him. Good luck. Like, I don't think you have to pick Storm if it's a good game for it. Like, I don't think your teammates' heroes matter that much, or the enemy team's heroes matter that much, except for, like, specifically Puck, Invoker, or Anti-Mage, maybe. But, like, those are actually popular right now, so, like, this hero goes up insanely high if Puck and Invoker have to be banned. Just something to keep in mind. I think that Storm as a hero is much stronger than all these other if it's a good game type heroes. Like, I'd much rather have a Storm on my team than a Coddle or a Kunkka or an Ember mid even. But if you are against Puck Invoker, it's going to be a sufferfest a lot of the time. Pangolier. I think that Pangolier is definitely still very good. This hero has been changed a bunch. Now his Swashbuckle only has 3 things, but it does more damage. Like, I don't know. They just keep moving his numbers left and right, up and down, center, circle, whatever. Like, he just owns. I will say that if there was another tier on this list, it would be stronger the higher the MMR the game is. I think if you're below a certain MMR, or you're not like unless you're an immortal player, don't worry about Pango. It's not worth playing unless you're really good at it. This hero suffers when the game goes extremely long, and it suffers if you're not very good at snowballing, because you don't kill objectives. You're like super strong in the early game, and you kind of fall off for a bit, so you need to get a bunch of kills to get to level 18 with Ags and like a Bash or Octarine. You're not going to have much success if you're just farming AFK all game, for the most part. The Swash change is a small nerf, honestly, because you get 1 less diffusal hit on your Swash for the early game, but it makes your Aghanims do more damage because the individual ones are more damage, right? Like, it's 90 per hit or something now. Before, what was it? Or no, it's more than 90, I think. It's 120, is it? 120 times 3, before it was 85. So you're doing 240 per W with your swash instead of 2 times 85, which is a pretty big increase. And the Aghanims is like the big power spike item. Like your early game is Diffusal, and honestly, when you get Diffusal on Pango, people can't really fight you back. It's not like it's not like you were struggling in the early game to get kills on that hero. It definitely makes the Ags a lot stronger. Void Spirit, I think it's between, like, for me, I'm going to put it in B. If your lane is not countered, you're going to have a good time on this hero. Pretty good lane against Invoker and Puck as well. So you're going to have more times where you're not, like, in a bad matchup. You also do, like, have, like, a lot of people have been getting Orchid and Ags, or just Ags, and it deals with Puck pretty well. I think the hero is very solid in the meta. I think people have been going, like, Kaya Sanj nuking build again with the W into Ags and stuff like that. However, if you do have a rough lane, like let's say you get Huskard, this hero falls all the way down to F. Like, this hero does not catch up as quickly as other heroes. And maybe with like a max Dissimulate build with Kaya, you can kind of come back these days, but it just feels so much worse than any other hero when you get counterpicked in lane. So just keep that in mind. Quap's a pains. I don't think she's like super OP. I don't think she's terrible. It's like Quap is also bad against Invoker and Puck. I think Storm is a stronger hero in the game. Like, his Aghanim's timing in the mid to late is strong. He's tankier in the early game. He does single target damage, which is important. He has less cooldowns to worry about. He's more mana efficient. There's like a lot of benefits Storm has over Queen. Queen like needs a good lane. Storm doesn't really. And there are very few heroes besides Pango and like maybe a Storm Spirit that you come across where you're going to be happy with your lane. Like, you're not really happy playing Quap against Invoker or Puck, really. The one lane you are probably happy about is Leshrac, but Leshrac's honestly so strong of a hero that he might just outscale you. Like, it doesn't feel great. Why is Quap bad versus Invoker when Qmax? He can just Ghost Walk between waves, like, at some point. He's going to drain your mana, so you're not going to... Like, Quap's biggest problem is mana costs being really high. You get hit with one EMP, and he's just going to, like, crush you on CS. And it's not hard for him to... Like, what you do is you EMP, wait like a quarter of a second, then you Tornado, and then when he drops, you wait a quarter of a second and Cold Snap, and that, like, perma-stuns them so they can't blink away. And the Cold Snap does, like, heal him a decent amount, but, like, you get EMP'd once or twice, and you're not harassing Invoker out of lane. The one benefit to Quap, like I said, is it's a good lane against Leshrac, and it's nice to have, like, the ult and the dagger to kite Leshrac, but I think Leshrac is so overtuned right now that you're not just going to win the game picking Quap just for that matchup. Mage Slayer does feel good against Lesh too, but it just, like, it doesn't feel... Like, when I play Leshrac and it's a good game, I feel like I can't lose. When I play Quap and it's a good game, I feel, like, nervous if I don't snowball, if that makes sense. DK could be A tier. DK is A tier for the offlane for sure, but I think you only put it mid if you have to. EMP feels really bad. No, nobody's getting 5 bottle refills as Quap, and if you're making them buy mangoes, mangoes are more expensive than a healing salve or tangos. It feels real. It's like one of Quap's worst matchups is Invoker since the beginning of time. People literally pick Invoker to counter Quap it. OD, I think OD is definitely like super high C tier. I haven't been too impressed with the hero myself, and I'm not that successful with it. It's one of my better heroes all time, but not so much lately. And I can't really, like, I don't really have that much, like, input on this. I just don't, it doesn't feel good to me. On paper, it seems like it should be really strong. And I think it was completely broken when the ult did, like, the damage part of the Pugna Ward. Now it just heals. But it's like, in the right game, it feels really good, but I always feel like there's some other hero I could have just picked anyway. Like, I don't feel so strongly about OD. The Ags timing is really strong, I will say that, but you have such a slow early game. You need to win your lane. Huskar, I think Huskar's a lot worse this patch than he used to be, and I don't know why. I don't know. Like, this hero goes up a lot if you're really good at Huskar. Like, it's definitely like a skill thing. I think there's less lanes that you're like happy about. Like, people are picking Ember Spirit a lot less already, and that's a big reason to pick Huskar in the first place. And it's always weird to pick him in blind pick. If Ember was in S tier, I think Huskar would move up a tier or two alone. But because like I said, I don't think Ember's all that good. And there's a lot of like ranged heroes that can just kind of exist and not care about you that much, that you're picking him for like his mid game presence more so than his lane a lot of the time. Like, your lane's going to be good, but you're not going to completely dumpster someone. It's not like you can crush a Storm as Huskar, but Storm can just jungle. Like it's not the same as an Ember Spirit trying to jungle at level 3 or 4, or a Void Spirit trying to jungle, or a Pango. Like, those heroes just can't jungle. Like, the classic Huskar pick has been against like Pango, Void Spirit, Ember, because those heroes literally just can't go to the jungle. But if you're playing like against the Puck, who's just poking waves, he's fine losing and making a stack for himself for later. I don't know how it would go against Invoker. It's been a while since I've seen that matchup. But Storm, Puck, there's like a lot of range heroes that are just good. I think Leshrac probably crushes a Huskar as well. Like, I just don't know what, like we need to just put this right here, because this is like a big reason for a lot of my picks too, is I think Leshrac is like by far the most broken mid in the patch. Good luck playing Huskar versus Leshrac for the time, I think. It's so easy for you to get ganked and killed with the Edict build if like one support comes. And like, it's hard to deny every creep when he's just spamming lightning. So like, the lane's just not that good for you. And I think Leshrac is by far the most picked hero and the strongest mid hero. What else do we got? Zeus. Zeus is actually really good right now. I don't know if I'd put him in A tier, but I think he's like very top of the B tier. I think that like, if you don't like, I know it says good if not countered, but there's like very few heroes that actually deal with Zeus. I think Puck is okay against Zeus, but it's not super good. And I think Quap is good against Zeus and like Mage Slayer heroes, but the biggest one that dealt with Zeus was Ember Spirit Mage Slayer, and it felt impossible to play that matchup. And now, like, the Mage Slayer lasts 3 seconds, and Ember's just kind of nerfed in general. So the biggest reason not to pick it's gone, and the hero is, like, absolutely broken once he gets his items. The Manta build is so strong. Especially with Plasma being added to the game. Completely changes the way the hero can be played. It's not necessarily like other lanes that really counter you either. I think it's just if they have a strong Mage Slayer hero that can jump you. Arc Warden, Sniper's also pretty powerful. This is controversial. Sniper is getting buffed on my tier list from the Herald Superstar division to the I'm picking this hero against Puck and like absolutely crushing him. The Conda Ags build is like very strong. People are playing Tempo Sniper. They're not playing like Mask of Madness Maelstrom or Mask of Madness Deso Sniper. If you have Ags and Phylactery, you have like 3 billion HP and you're just running at people. The hero is so strong. People have been picking it the past like few tournaments to counter Puck in lane and probably a few others. And I expect this hero to get like a lot more popular, I think. Definitely a Sniper Enjoyer patch for sure. Lina, I've come up and down on Lina a bunch. I think Lina's probably in a similar spot to these other B tier heroes. I think that I'd rather have a Lina on my team than an OD or a Quap for like a lane dominator type hero or even a Huskar. But I'm still not like super happy about having a Lina on my team because I think that a lot of the like Lina's really good against Leshrac. In theory, you just auto attack him from far away. But like she gets popped by anything that can jump her. There are so many heroes in the meta that can just blink stun you. I think Dragonite, Mars, and Centaur are like some of the most popular offlanes in the pool. Tiny is one of the most popular fours. And those setting up any of these nuking heroes that you'd beat in lane, like a Storm or a Leshrac or a Puck, and you'll just get popped like a pimple. So you have to be very careful. Like, if there's too many heroes, especially Mars completely ruins your hero. They just, like, you can't attack in the arena. You have to buy a BKB to get out of the arena. Really just want to have your Glipnir really fast and not rush a BKB as well. But she's definitely, like, a strong hero, I think, currently. Do I think Valve's trying to make Tinker a support hero? I don't think so, no. Shadow Fiend, this is going to be like a hero I have very little play. I have not play tested at all in the mid lane this patch. The patch has been out for a few days. I'm going to make a bold prediction that, and I'll make an update to this tier list in a week or two once the meta is a bit more solved, but I think that Shadow Fiend is going to move up to the B tier. I have big dreams of Shadow Fiend. The mana cost change is huge. A big reason people stop picking Shadow Fiend, in the safe lane at least, is because of the Silver Edge change and people moving towards Conda-based heroes and the newer items like Parasma. The Conda Revenant's Brooch Rapier meme is dead. Conda's still pretty strong. But a traditional like Shadow Fiend mid, with like that right clicks you down, can farm really fast with the raises, I think could be strong. I don't know how it works. Again, like, you don't want to pick it against Invoker, I think. I don't know how it would feel against Leshrac. It should feel good. And again, if there's like Pangos and Embers and stuff, you're going to feel super good about it. But I'm going to predict this hero is going to go up a lot in value. I think it's very underrated right now. Tiny, I think Tiny and Void Spirit fill very similar roles. Conda Revenant's Brooch was really strong on Tiny, but I think the Conda alone was like the big power spike, and it changed the hero a lot for me. I have to get used to they nerfed the tree damage to like really like significantly, I think, over the past few patches. So it doesn't feel as easy to score those Giga denies, but I still think like Blink, Echo, Conda, Tiny is really strong. And you can just go Aghanim's instead of Revenant's Brooch. You don't really have to go for full single target. There's a lot of builds. Like, the fourth items being nerfed, like, that you would go, sucks, but it's not a big deal. A lot of the times I was just getting BKB over the Revenant's Brooch anyway. But yeah. Definitely would, like, it's crazy because I would put Tiny so much lower a few patches ago, but, like, I would actually rather have a Tiny on my team than an Ember right now, or something like that. And again, like, I think in the right game, Kunkka's better than a Tiny. Like, this tier list isn't necessarily like in every single game, or like only when the heroes are good, right? I think that like it's for every single game, not when the hero is like designed to be picked or something. Like, if you pick Kunkka every single game, it's gonna feel like a C tier. If you pick it in the right game, it's gonna feel like you're cheating, right? But like, just picking the hero under any circumstance should look like this. Like, Leshrac is literally any game, anytime, anywhere. He'll pull up. Meepo, I think Meepo is like I think it's a carry. I think if you pick it in the absolute perfect game, you're going to crush. But it's been nerfed a lot. Unless you see Anti-Mage and like another mobility hero you can shut down with nets, I don't think the hero is as big of a payoff as it used to be. And their mid should be like really high tempo compared to you a lot of the time. You're just farming. You give unless they pick like a few specific heroes that you can dumpster at level 4, you're usually giving their mid free farm, which is not like always good. It just has to have a big payoff. Yeah, Leshrac trashes Meepo as well. Even like Puck to some extent, like the silence being AoE and disperser being nerfed, it's pretty hard to like play Meepo against AoE control these days. Maybe pick for fun is a bit too severe. I'm actually going to move him up to C. I think like if the game is good, he's still pretty good. But like very close to pick for fun. There's a lot of viable mid heroes, by the way, this patch. I actually think Broodmother's quite strong mid, only if you're not countered, obviously. A bit slow on the build up, but another Conda abuser. Conda's like pushed a lot of heroes to being viable. Like Sniper is viable because of Conda. I think Broodmother, like people were doing the Bloodthorn meme for a while on Brood, but I actually think that like the Conda build is so much stronger. You do like 1,000 damage every time you press your ult on somebody once you have Phylactery or Conda. You do need good team fight, but again, like a lot of the popular offlaners right now are Kunkka, Mars. I've even seen some Tide Hunters. So like as far as like a map control dominate the early game hero, it does pretty well. Earth Spirit's kind of like, well, we can put Earth Spirit in the pick for fun. I don't think you have to necessarily hate yourself to pick Earth Spirit, but it's pretty close. And another one we can throw into like the bottom tiers. Where is it at? Do. I can't find him. He's disappeared. I wish I could control F. Oh, here he is. Pick if you hate yourself. Tinker's getting demoted from hero specialist to like unplayable almost. Like you can make it work. You're gonna have to work harder than everybody else around you to get a win. Like this hero's early game is so bad. So bad. They completely changed Shivas. It's so expensive now. That's the only item you want on Tinker to farm. The hero's unplayable until you finish a Shivas. They nerfed the laser cast range. They gave him 2 armor. Who cares? Like you have to. Okay, for some reason, my tier list is looking a little Plizzy like. I have like a pattern somehow. Anyways, kind of looks like the sword from Halo. Actually. Is support Tinker the new thing? Yeah, fuck Tinker. Fuck Tinker. Yeah, it has to be like the stars have to align and they have to throw a little bit to win on Tinker. It does look like a bell curve actually, which is normally. That's normally. I don't know how many more heroes I'm going to include, and I kind of want to rush through some of these, because these are the important ones in my eyes. I'm going to look through this one more time to make sure I'm not forgetting anybody. Because I feel like the meta is pretty, like, defined by the heroes I've already put. And I do want to, like, every single time I make a tier list, someone goes, why didn't you put Crystal Maiden mid in your tier list? I've played 1,000 games of Crystal Maiden mid and never lost. What the fuck, bad tier list. So I do want to just add a bunch of heroes that can go middle, but not like yap about them for too long. I just want to like include the entire meta. You could honestly like end the tier list here if this you want to use like a super competitive type one. As far as heroes that can go mid, you can pick Alk for fun. You pick Timbersaw if it's like a really good game, but I think he's mostly an offlaner right now. Honestly, Timbersaw could be in B tier in some games. You pick Batmid if you hate yourself. Windranger, I think this is like a carrier off lane. If it's a really good game, it's fine, but I think this is more of a pick for fun type thing. Oh, I forgot about Primal Beast. Primal Beast is good if it's a good game. Primal Beast is actually a very viable mid hero. Did get some decent nerfs though. Viper, I wish there was a pick if you hate the enemy heroes. Like, I guess that's fun. Some people like bullying others; they find it fun. So, like, you pick Viper for fun. If your idea of as a good time is to not let someone lane, and then you lose the game afterwards, go for it. Death Prophet, I think. I still want to test some Mage Slayer, Ags, BKB type builds, but I haven't had much success on it. And it's like a counter pick hero, and it's not that good right now, honestly. See if I'm forgetting anything. Okay, Pudge we can put in pick for fun. Everyone loves Pudge. Magnus as well. Arc Warden, I have no idea how to rate this hero, and I'm sorry. There's always one Arc Warden guy that goes, "How good is my hero?" I can't tell you. I've seen this hero once out of like the last year I played this game. I've seen it mid once. It lost. People tell me the hero's really good. I don't know. I don't even play it myself. So, like, if you are asking how good Arc Warden is, you probably know if it's better. Like, you probably know it better than me. So, Monkey King, you pick for fun. You just want to kill couriers. Necro, you pick if you hate the enemy players. You find it fun to make them have a bad time. And I think that's pretty much it. I think that was a longer tier list than normally. But there's a lot of viable mid heroes these days. Like, this is a very good patch for mids, I think. I think Razor's probably fine too. Razor's been going up in popularity a decent amount. Hasn't felt too impressive, but it is quite good. Yeah, I think that'll be the whole list. Any other hero I didn't mention is either D or F. So if you're in the comments and you made it through the whole video and you're like, what the frick? They didn't put my special patented Chen mid in here. It's in D or F, sorry. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Bob's your uncle. Until next time.